Good Monday evening, everybody. David Paul with you here in the KHOU 11 Weather Center. And we have a very active weather day in store for us on Tuesday. We'll be on severe weather watch. Ingredients are coming together to not only provide widespread heavy rain, but also heavy thunderstorms, strong gusty straight line winds, maybe damaging straight line winds, and enough twist and lift in the atmosphere to, I think, likely produce at least one or two tornadoes as we head through the day on Tuesday. I'll show you where that's most likely to happen as we move along, but here's the way it looks in a nutshell. The timing on this severe weather threat will be around 10 a.m. Tuesday morning through 5 o'clock Tuesday afternoon as the storm system takes mid-morning to late afternoon to sweep across the area. The tornado threat is there, but I think mainly along and south of I-10, especially as you get into southern Brazoria, southern Galveston, southern Matagorda County. But I can't rule out a tornado spinning up in Harris County as well, so it's something we'll just have to watch very carefully. I think the rain totals of 3 to 5 inches are most likely to cause problems on the streets and roads. Now, we're in winter, so there's no vegetation to pull moisture out of the ground. The ground is damp, so 3 to 5 inch rain totals will cause the bayous and creeks to react. In other words, they will rise. But that doesn't look like it's going to be enough to get them to rise up and out of their banks. So at the moment, the flood threat appears to be most likely for streets, not homes and businesses. But we'll be watching for all of that on Tuesday. As far as rain chances go, a timeline through the day, computers say 60% rain chance going into 7 a.m. I think that may be a little overdone. I think by 7 a.m., it's scattered showers. And I'm not expecting anything severe at 7 a.m. in the morning. But as we get into the 9, 10 o'clock time frame, that's when rain chances really ramp up, and they go to 100% by noon. You don't often see that number. Still a 90% chance for rain, heavy at times, 2 o'clock. Still an 80% rain chance by 4 o'clock, and then the rain chances just drop off a cliff. That's because the line of storms will be racing through the Houston area and east toward Beaumont and Lake Charles, Louisiana. So that's the way the rain chances look. It is going to rain on Tuesday. And if you've got to drive around in this, it is most likely going to impact what you're trying to do. Now let's talk about the severe weather threat. Almost everyone in southeast Texas is under one level of severe threat or another, 1, 2, or 3. So this is based on a 5-tiered scale. This is from the Storm Prediction Center, and they believe that it is our southern and coastal counties that have the greatest threat, a 3 out of 5, of seeing not just severe thunderstorms, gusty straight line winds to 50 miles an hour, that type of thing, but also, again, enough twist in the atmosphere to perhaps produce a tornado and maybe intense tornadoes. This level 3 threat means that we could have EF2 tornadoes or stronger. It's unusual for us to get EF2s or stronger. You're talking about winds getting up to 140, 150 miles an hour in these tornadoes. But under this type of a setup, it can happen. And by the way, November, December, January, absolutely we get tornadoes in November, December, January. Sometimes those are our most active tornado months in southeast Texas. So this is not, out of the ordinary. It's not out of the realm of something that can and does happen in southeast Texas. Here's a big picture across the deep south as we stand this evening. So the pink, the sand color, and the orange color here, those are all wind advisories of one sort or another. It is going to be a windy day tomorrow. And these are wind warnings for the potential maximum gusts. In New Orleans, we could see gusts coming off the Gulf to 50 miles an hour. In the Houston area, I think it's 35 to 45. And on the coast, those are gale warnings. We could see gusts over 50 miles an hour across Galveston Bay and across the near shore waters of the Gulf of Mexico. As the system approaches, we will have the winds picking up mid-morning, and it will just be a steady south-southeast wind at 20 to 25 miles an hour. That's a 5. So those are just sustained winds. When you get the heavier downpours, it will pull down stronger winds up aloft, and we could easily see gusts to 35 and 45. So I expect we're going to see at least some isolated power outages. A tree or a limb may come down in some of the heavier storms with that type of wind and the soil being damp. And so we're going to see some isolated power outages because of the wind blowing out of the south and the stronger winds with some of the stronger storms. Big picture, that's the parent storm system dumping heavy snow tonight over the Rockies of New Mexico, Ruidoso, Taos. The skiers there are loving this southern tract storm. but as it pushes into Texas, it is going to develop a severe weather threat. Now, one of the big ingredients that we have with this particular setup is the orientation of the upper level trough, the upper level winds. This is the flow up at 34,000 feet. And quite often, a trough will set up in the upper levels. That's this dip in the winds called a trough. And you can see I've drawn in this line, it's oriented from northeast to southwest. So that has a name. It's called a positively tilted trough. That's a positively tilted trough. And quite often we'll get these positively tilted troughs to come on through in that orientation, and we'll get a line of rain or thunderstorms, but that doesn't often produce severe weather, just a line of storms, and then a cold front blows through. But in this case, watch how this trough is going to evolve overnight and as we move from Monday into Tuesday. Watch how this is like a barn door, just swinging open, and now it's in a completely different orientation, oriented from northwest to southeast. That has a name as well. It's called a negatively tilted trough. Why does that matter? Why do we look for that? Well, look at what the winds are doing downstream from that negatively oriented trough. They're spreading out. See how they're fanning out? So that winds fanning out up at 34,000 feet creates a vacuum up there. You know what vacuums do? They suck that air up into the vacuum. So that's exactly how this is going to play out in the atmosphere. It helps air to rise with much more velocity than it normally would because it's being sucked up by that vacuum up there at the top of the atmosphere. So that creates the violently rising atmosphere, while at the same time at the surface we'll have a twist to the low-level atmosphere. That caused by surface low pressure and the surface front. So we've got that violent lift, we've got the twist from the counterclockwise motion of that low pressure area moving into East Texas, and that's what you need to produce storms that can produce tornadoes. As that air rises, it catches that twist, and you get a twister, you get a tornado. And the setup for this to happen, the most likely area is here. Here's 59, here's I-10, so really it's along and south of 59 and the I-10 corridor as we head into Tuesday late morning through Tuesday afternoon. So from Houston to the coast, from Galveston to Bay City down to Matagorda Bay, Brazoria County, Matagorda County, Galveston County, Southeast Harris County, Baytown, that includes you, Hitchcock, Lamarck, Galveston, Texas City, Clear Lake area, that includes you, in an enhanced risk for a tornadic thunderstorm to develop. Now, I don't expect it to be raining tornadoes. We're going to see 1 or 2 or 3 warned cells. That's what most likely happens with this type of a parameter. 1 or 2 or 3 tornadoes develop. But those that do develop could be quite strong. So it's something we'll be paying very close attention to as we go through the day on Tuesday. Here's a closer view and we'll walk you through the day on Tuesday. Future track has scattered showers and winds already beginning to become gusty by 7 a.m. As we head through mid-morning toward 11:30 a.m., look at the expansion of rain and thunderstorm activity across the area. And you can see even the winds beginning to show signs of twisting here and there on our computer model. You know, it definitely indicates what we're seeing with the different ingredients coming together, that we're going to get rising air and twisting air. That's 11:30. That's a mess. So rainfall rates may be at 2-3 inches per hour, and that will cause the waters to come up quickly on some of the low spots on the roadways. You know, I-45 north at Parker. We know that intersection floods when we get rainfall rates of 2 to 3 inches. So expect that to happen. Expect all the usual high water spots to get some high water in them. See, by 2:30, it's still heavy rain, but notice how it's now a band of rain. So that'll be the actual front, the cold front part of this coming in. And watch how all of this between 2:30 and then very quickly, 3:30, 4:30, 5:30, 6, 7, it's out of here. It exits very quickly. And that will open the door to a northwest breeze, and that will bring in some much colder air. Now, as far as the rain totals go, computers suggest 3, 4, 5 inches plus. Again, our bayou system is in a situation where it should be able to handle those rain totals without a problem. We'll watch carefully. If we do get an isolated spot that suddenly sees 6, 7, or 8, we'll be breaking into programming online and on all our social media platforms to let you know. This is a great time while it's quiet right now to download the KHOU 11 app and turn on notifications, so no matter where you are, if something starts to happen, you'll get the notification, you'll be notified, and you'll be able to take action to protect yourself. And maybe it may just be pulling off into a parking lot and letting the heavy rain pass, giving it a half hour just to keep you safe. If you're in a situation where the rain is just blinding and the water's coming up, just pull up into a gas station and just wait it out. Sometimes that's just the safest thing to do. All right, so here's the extended. So after Tuesday, which is going to be a mess, we clear out and it gets cold in the mornings in particular. 30s and 50s on Wednesday, mid-30s and mid-50s on Thursday, and then lows near freezing going into Friday morning. So this is going to open the door to some cold air coming out of Canada. It's not bitter cold Arctic air, but it's Canadian air, so lows near freezing, especially north of I-10. I expect by Friday morning we will have a lot of light freezing lows in Conroe and Kingwood and the Woodlands and Tomball probably, and then points northward from there. That'll be Friday morning. And then the weekend looks like scattered showers. Okay, so that's where we stand right now. Tuesday is a day where I would urge you to stay close to us, stay close to the weather. The best way to do that is download the KHOU 11 app, turn on notifications. We'll be getting the weather alerts all day long tomorrow. We will be on all our platforms, not just the television, where we'll break in. I expect we'll be breaking in on the TV side several times tomorrow, but also KHOU.com, where we have all our newscasts and broadcasts live there. And then, of course, on Facebook and Twitter and Insta, and we'll be there taking care of you as well. Stay close to the forecast weather's going into Tuesday. Stay safe, and another live update as the storm approaches here on the TV side tonight on KHOU 11 News at 10 o'clock. We'll see you then on the TV side for our next live update.